So Dave Rubin has so thoroughly and completely flipped worldviews that now he's just a standard conservative pundit. He's just a standard pro-Trump guy. And his political evolution has been kind of funny to watch because he started out, he was on the TYT network and he was pretending like, he was a lefty or whatever. And then he slowly inched a little bit right. The thing that led to him breaking up with TYT in a pretty prominent way was Sam Harris and TYT going at it. And, he felt like TYT was treating Sam Harris unfairly and he agrees more with Sam Harris. And then Dave became this kind of like, new atheism guy, and probably he went from left-wing politics to like center-left politics or centrist politics. And, then slowly but surely, that it was mission creep all day. It was like, on his show, every week it would be, this right-wing guest, that right-wing guest. He would sprinkle in a lefty every now and then, very rarely, but then now it's like... He went through that whole PragerU thing of like, why I left the left. For a while, he tried to do the, I'm this only sane liberal left, bro. That's me. And then it became, he just admits it. Like, no, okay, I'm a right-winger now. Well, now, if I'm not mistaken, he either was or is like on the Blaze Network, and he still does a bunch of stuff with PragerU. But here he is talking to Michael Knowles, who was, known as the Daily Wire third stringer. And I was on some Politicon panel with Michael Knowles. You want to talk about a guy who's just like, he was an actor, by the way, and you could tell. He's got the fake announcer voice thing going on, and it seems like he's trying to play this role. Like, I will also be Mr. Conservative Man. Like, he's not, who knows what he actually really believes. It just seems like it's all an act. But anyway, Dave Rubin was speaking to Michael Knowles on his show. I think this is on PragerU. They did like a book club or something. And Dave just flat out says it now. Like, yeah, I'm a Trump guy. Watch.
You look, and it seems like no matter who wins the election, no matter which party wins, certain things just keep on happening. We lose more and more of our freedoms. We rack up more and more of our debt. The culture keeps going more and more in one direction. It doesn't seem to matter who wins.
I dare make a pro-Trump comment. I don't know if I'm allowed.
Will certainly be censored by the Ministry of Truth on the internet.
Somebody's not going to be happy about this. But in many ways, when I was rereading it, I kept thinking, man, what they needed was a Trump. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because what was Trump, or what is Trump? He just sort of broke through all of this. If you're talking about how do you break the duopoly, how do you break the false choices, how do you break political correctness, all of these things, who has been the greatest breaker of those things? It's been Trump. So it's like, in a weird way, if the book had ended and there suddenly was this person who was just willing to do it for some very bizarre reason, and perhaps he was orange and had weird hair. Yeah. Like, then I guess you see some hope, but you don't get the orange.
I hate to.
They're talking about the book 1984. And Dave immediately brought it back to Trump good and political correctness bad. Okay, I think it's a physical law of nature that Dave Rubin redirects every conversation back to political correctness. This political correctness is out of control. This cancel culture is so out of control. It's written in the laws of nature that every single political issue goes right back to that for Dave Rubin. Again, they're talking about the book 1984. Like, do you think maybe it would make sense to bring up, I don't know, endless war? How, you can define, peace is now defined as endless war. Like, we need the endless war to be peaceful. Did they make a point about that? Did they make a point about, I don't know, maybe NSA spying or rank authoritarian government? No, there was nothing about that. This political correctness is out of control. His solution is just, wouldn't it be great if they had like a Trump in 1984? Wouldn't that be great? Rubin paints himself as the free speech guy, and now he's flat out backing a guy who sued Bill Maher over a joke. That's what Donald Trump did. Bill Maher made a joke about how Trump looks like the love child of his mom and an orangutan. And Trump was so triggered, and he's such a snowflake, that he threatened a lawsuit against Bill Maher. over a joke. Dave Rubin's whole thing is like, oh my God, isn't the left out of control? Because they get like really triggered over jokes. It's really not cool. They're really anti-free speech. He's backing the president who sued somebody over a joke. He's backing the guy who has now repeatedly said flag burning should be punished with up to a year in jail. So the free speech guy is backing the president who has come out against a landmark or hallmark free speech ruling that the Supreme Court had. Antonin Scalia famously said, I'm as conservative as it gets, and I don't agree with burning the flag at all. If I was king, I'd put him in jail, but we have a constitution. I can't do that. That's free speech. Dave Rubin is backing the president who's anti-free speech in the clearest ways. And he fancies himself the free speech guy. And by the way, what's happening right now? What's happening right now is Trump has threatened the Insurrection Act. Trump is sending Department of Homeland Security soldiers, effectively, people from the Border Patrol. He's sending them into states and casually, willy-nilly arresting protesters. No due process, no following the Constitution. They don't even have the authority to arrest people. So that is as against the Constitution you could get. And numbnuts here is like, wouldn't it be great if Trump? It would be great to just like, just like break political correctness and stuff. That's what they needed in 1984. Was like a Trump to like break the political correctness and stuff. He's a parody of himself now, man. It's just, I love how he did I might say something pro-Trump. Oh, you're so edgy, bro. You're so edgy on this right-wing network to say like the most banal shit in favor of their favorite politician. Wow. This is what happens when you don't believe in anything. You never believed in it. He wanted to be famous and he found a lane and he's, doing everything he can to get famous using this lane. That's it. That's all it is. I love when Michael Knowles said, whichever party wins, the same stuff seems to happen. I heard that point. I'm like, oh, interesting. Is he going to take this point to actually a good place? What does he say? We lose freedom and we gain debt. So he's saying, oh my God, whichever party wins, the same stuff happens. He doesn't bring up how corporations win. They always win, no matter what. The corruption keeps on going. The military-industrial complex churns on. We continue to have endless war. We continue to have corruption run the show, which is why the American people never get what they want, according to the polls. What we want is crystal clear according to the polling data. We never get that stuff. He couldn't even say that. He went right to like freedom and debt. Well, your guy's trying to take away the First Amendment freedoms, locking up protesters, saying punish people with a year in jail for flag burning. Anyway, I digress. This is hilarious and sad, but also at this point totally expected. I'm sure he's going to give us so much more material now that he's basically come out of the closet as like a Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Rush Limbaugh type mindless conservative.